Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we're testing out the secondary epic mod, the secondary battery mod number 3. Epic Modification is what it's called. There's the commander builds. We're going to be running some AI games, and there's what it looks like when you have it on there. And then here's the stats. All right, so we got 20% base reduction on the reload, sure, same as the regular one, but then negative 5% for every 50 hits. Caps at 5, so you can get an additional 25, which looks ridiculous. We're going to see that here. All right, so first off, when you get the thing, you have to actually put it on here. Like this first game, no epic mod on there. I thought it was when I was playing it, and I'm sitting here like kind of giggling to myself like, whoa, this thing's ridiculous. And then I went into the ship screen afterwards to check the stats so I could be accurate. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even put it on there. Okay, so this is just Rupprecht doing its thing against AI. And when we're doing secondary tests, the idea is just put your ship in the middle of all the red ships and see how many hits you can get, how much damage. Not the most applicable to real world situations, admittedly, but that's how we run these things. Certain maps are better when you can get in the middle of the whole team, basically. Important thing that I did not understand, maybe everybody else did. I'm not known for being the most attentive reader when it comes to certain details. Necessarily, at least not in this instance of my life. However, I didn't realize you only get one epic mod per unlock, right? So we ground out all these missions for the secondaries. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna upgrade the whole secondary fleet on our German battleships and everything else that we got them on. And then I was gonna film a short little clip explaining how to put them on there because I was just telling you a moment ago, oh, you got to actually put it on there. And I'm figuring, all right, well, when I get to that point in my rambling dissertation on these things, I'll just interlay a little bit of a clip, actually putting them on there. That'll be helpful. Then when I go to do that on the Pommern or the Bismarck or whatever else, I'm like, okay, you can't actually put it on there. So apparently, as far as I can tell, you only get one of these things in your whole fleet. All right, so keep that in mind. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments, but that's what I believe. I almost torped the Buki there. You can see we don't use main guns in these tests. But playing defensively, I thought he was trying to torp me. And I'm like, okay, we got a good thing going on here. Let's not get sunk by this guy. Suicide rushing us. Luckily, someone else blasted him. And we can go back to doing what we're doing here, which is testing the secondaries. All right, so you can see here, this is the normal performance. And that's quite juicy, right? You can get them going off both sides. And they're really piling up, So I'm like, all right, this is looking pretty good here. Again, as I'm playing this, under the impression that the reload speeds were actually going up. But you will see a noticeable difference when you're actually running this thing. We'll see that here in just a minute after we see how many hits we can get on this configuration. Powerful, most certainly. All right, now I again played another Rupprecht game against humans. And I had it's a good game. You might end up seeing it on the channel here sooner or later. But again, I was under the impression that I was playing it with the epic mod. And I'm like, all right, this thing's actually working pretty dang good. We got a lot of damage in that game. Now I got to go back, now that we figured out that we didn't actually have it on there, and see just how powerful this is. Because getting 250 hits, which is all you need to really max the bonus on this thing, it's not that hard for certain secondary battleships. Rupprecht, one of them, a lot of the battle cruisers, good accuracy, good range, good everything about them, good numbers of guns, reload everything. So certainly the German battle cruisers, even the main battleships, if you set them up for secondaries, you won't have problems with that. You got Massachusetts, you can even think about some of the Italians or something like that. But the rate of fire gets quite nasty. Okay, so it makes sense that they're not allowing you to just boost the whole part of your navy, but you will be kind of running into ships now where you're going to have to realize tier 7, tier 8, and legendary tier, there's a pretty good chance, especially if the guy's like a Yamato main or whatever, he's got some epic mod on the ship that's going to make it even juicier. All right, so this is the first one I've unlocked, the secondary mods, and here I like to zoom in to demonstrate this when I know we're going to be filming this stuff, just so you can see how tight these when we hit that secondary booster consumable, because I know most of you guys don't like to use the slot 4 commander perk boosting that module, or that consumable, I should say. But if you actually see how dang good it is, I mean, look at these accurate hits just raining right down on the superstructure. I mean, this guy's getting absolutely melted. So, I mean, if you're going to go all in on the secondaries, go all in on the secondaries. You won't regret it. All right. Yeah, getting back to my point, you're just going to have to understand at those higher tiers, uh, there's going to be some super powerful ships running around. Okay. Now you can actually, until you go broke, you can actually uninstall this thing. Like you could put it on your Yamato and you're like, okay, now I'm going to play the Conqueror, uninstall it from Yamato, and not necessarily talking about the secondary one, but you could put one on the guns, for instance. There's other epic mods that we're going to unlock. You could theoretically move it from ship to ship, right? But it is going to have a dismounting cost. Um, and part of the reason I wanted to film some footage of it actually being installed was to point it out to you guys, newer players or people. It's not explained, but you can actually always select the free option. Don't ever spend doubloons to uninstall mods. Okay, you can always, all you got to do, scroll up one in the menu that's where you're looking at to uninstall the mod, and then there'll be the free option. You're just going to pay about 1,500,000 credits to do it, which is better than paying real money, in my opinion. All right, so now we got this thing actually on the ship. Here's test number 2. And again, we're just charging in here. We got the secondary consumable going here. We're just targeting the destroyers, trying to get that damage, right? Because they're going to get nuked by our destroyers. A lot of AI players on both sides here. We want to get as much damage as possible, right? This is a race against our own idiots ramming them or, hitting them with torpedoes point blank range. So I want to get the torps or the secondaries hitting the destroyers rather early on. Number one, for defensive purposes, because we don't want to get nuked. But number 2, just to maximize the damage. And look how fast we're getting this, right? We're just about a minute in this fray. We're already on the 4th iteration. We've hit over 200 hits here. And once we hit the 5th, keep in mind we're getting 5% additional reduction, right? We still got the base 20% that you get for putting the secondary mod in slot 4, which is outstanding. This is affecting the reload, keep in mind. So we have the base negative 20% on the reload, and now we're at negative 45%. All right, so again, getting a little nervous here. Do we got to play defensive with the torpedoes? I don't want to get nuked by a Buki. This is one of the best maps to do a secondary test on, so when I get it, I want to stay alive the whole time. But looks like he's going down there, so didn't have to torp him, luckily, and then we can reposition our ship to get shots coming off both sides. But just blistering rates of fire, right? And then just wait till we get that consumable back up. You'll see that it just continues to pile up the hits. So again, we haven't shot anything. We've gotten 5, now 6 fires. We're up to 75,000. And I think that's, if I remember, this gets pretty juicy by the end of this test here. I can't remember the exact numbers, but what we got here is 3 relatively full health battleships. I got a lot of health myself, and I'm well angled at the moment, but there's a lot of available damage, is what I'm saying here. And they're getting rid of some of these cruisers that might be trying to nuke them point blank range. We still do have our one other human. I had one other human on this team. Wasn't sure. Looks like he's in the back in the cruiser, which is fine. We don't stay out of it and watch this shit as far as I'm concerned. And you can see the hits piling up here. Look at this. 750 hits within 3.5 minutes of brawling, minus the 40-second deployment time. So again, every time I do one of these AI secondary tests, people in the comments scoff, come on, this isn't real. I get that, man. This is, if you're trying to do this in a real game, it'll work for a little while, but not this long, right? I mean, you're not going to get away with these shenanigans. But then again, I'm going to be firing main guns. I'm going to be launching torpedoes, and I'm doing everything else. So, I mean, this is not, it goes both ways. I've actually thrown AI games for my team before doing these tests. I'm sure anyone watching was probably pretty ticked off if they see me lose an AI game without firing the main guns once. But if they appreciate the beauty of the science, you can see it's worth doing these tests, right? Now we're over 1,100 hits, and I'm like, all right, well, we better start making sure, we're down to 3 ships. We don't want to lose this. We're down on score, for God's sakes. Let's start targeting the main. Once again, we want to get the damage before someone else snags it. Number 2, remove some guns, make sure we're staying alive. So there the Yoshino finishes them off. That's fine. We don't really care. We're just trying to make sure we don't get sunk and get as many hits in as we can before the mayhem ends. We were closing in on 1,500. Oh, god dang it. What are you doing there, man? Whoa, vicious shot from the Oshino on the Soyuz. Okay. Didn't realize that when I was playing. That was pretty nasty. I assumed it was a battleship. But I see now that we didn't have any battleships. So good shot from the Yoshino. And here, note close quarters. This is a good point to point out to you guys. When we're hitting the hull, we're not going to get a lot of damage. Look at all these hits. But they're not penetrating. So when you're point blank range against battleships, keep in mind you're probably just relying on that to start fires. You're not getting a lot of raw damage. Anyways, that's a look at the epic mod for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Questions, comments, believe me, whatever time.